Good morning.
Good morning.
It is nice to continue our co-creating. You are ready for us?
Yes.
We'll begin here.
Abraham, I've got a question about long-term intentions and short-term intentions. And I'll give you an example. One of my long-term intentions is to create financial independence. And I can put a lot of energy in that.
Financial independence.
Independence.
Independence from what?
From an employer or an employer situation.
Not from finances.
Not from money. But I'll think about that one if I can figure that one out. It's almost like it's that way now.
Sometimes a change of terminology is helpful.
Good point. Anyway, I want that for myself, and in the short term, I'm wanting to create a job to pay the bills that are pressing and my rent. And so I'm looking at creating a situation, on one hand, a job that will pay what's necessary right now, and on the other hand, a situation that will bring in money with greater ease. And I feel sort of a conflict within myself because I actually don't really get too excited about a job right now. I would prefer to create the money, perhaps win a prize or something like that. And yet, I want to do this all in a context of supporting myself in joy and meeting my financial obligations. I don't know if I'm stating this clearly, but
you have stated it very clearly, and you've stated it for many others also.
Yeah.
So I would like to create the intention to bridge that in a way that I can achieve both and not deny the longer-term goal by focusing on the shorter-term goal, and not ignore my immediate needs by focusing on the longer-term goal.
You stated it very well. Agreed?
Agreed.
We're going to have a very good time with this, and you are going to achieve a point of clarity that will be most helpful to you. We're wanting to bring you to a new way of looking at this that you are creating. And to do it, we are wanting to say first, when you think about being the creator of your own reality, very tidy little sum of words, you fall into your own old patterns of approaching it, most of you do, which says, I'm going to go out there and get what I want. I'm going to, in a sense, bang things into position. In other words, it is the physical action-oriented approach that is still very heavily within your vibration when you start talking about creation. And as we were listening to your offering, very clear offering, we're realizing that in this idea of goal setting, short range, long range, there is a very strong sensing of me going out after it and getting it. And what we are wanting you to do is make a slight adjustment and realize that it is not so much a matter of you going after it or creating it in the sense that most of you think about creating. It is a matter of getting yourself in the vibration that allows money to flow. And then you don't have to worry so much about adding so much detail to the vehicle through which it will come. Then you don't have to start defining, well, this is the short term, and I'm willing to do this and this and this under these conditions, but in the long run, because that's where you start offering conflicting thoughts that mess up your vibration, so that the long range and the short range get all scattered within you, and the long range keeps the short range from happening, and the short range keeps the long range from happening, because all of those vibrations are in there. And so we say to you, worry not about long range, short range. Give your attention to your vibration today. Because it is your vibration today that is the center focal point for all things that are coming, the immediate things and the not so immediate things. And then as you get yourself in that place, and the way you do that is We watch so many of our friends. They say, as you have somewhat described, I don't want to work for somebody else because what I want is freedom. And so as they go through their 8-hour or 10-hour day of a job, they lament the fact that they are not free. And so during that 8 hours, they literally reinforce their bondage, the opposite of the independence that you're talking. Well, in every moment that you're reinforcing your bondage, you are spreading a little bondage a little further into the future, a little more into the future, a little more into the future. And so the only way to make the future different than today is to change the way you are vibrating today, which means look for the positive aspects of today. Acknowledge every little piece of freedom you see. I can go to work or not. It is my choice. I'm free to think as I'm wanting. As I'm here, I am free to see my boss as obnoxious or see him as a man who has a business that is providing me with a source of income. I have the option of seeing me with not enough time or seeing me with all day long to make choices of thought, word, and action. You see what we are saying? And we have watched many of our physical friends with one very simple process, a process simply of putting some extra dollars in their pocket and then letting that money remind them of how much freedom they really have. I could have that if I wanted it. I could have that. I could have that. I could have that. I could have that. You see, you have a balance of vibration within you on every subject. And every subject is that which is wanted and lack of it. And so as you are giving more of your attention in one, let us say, from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon, if you are giving your full attention to what you are employed to do, you will not be on the subject of lack. But if you stop every 3 or 4 minutes and say, oh, I really don't want to be here, I'm really wanting to be somewhere else, you are reinforcing your bondage to this which you do not want. And so there is not a reason for you to sort out long range and short range, because the reality of it is what you want in the short range and what you want in the long range are one and the same. You want freedom and growth and joy. You want the delicious unfolding of physical experience. You want all of the money that you have time to spend. You want to interact with those who are happy. In other words, whether it is short range, do not fall into that old trap of being willing to endure something that you do not like in order to get something that you do like, because you never get there. If you have an attitude of endurance, you will endure forevermore. The sun never comes out. But if you will instead realize that the sun is out today and acknowledge how many wonderful things there are today, then it is nice every day, you see. Everything just gets better and better and better. Good. We are appreciating very much your offering. What more? Let us go here and then there.
I have a question that I'm just really delighted to have to ask or want to ask. You touched on it yesterday. In the past couple months, I've had the experience of so much joy that it almost feels like my body can't hold it all. Like I need a second self. Now, what a nice question to have to ask. What do I do with all that energy?
Let it ooze out into the universe and infect others.
Okay.
You wasn't ready for that one.
I feel like I'm going to explode sometimes though before it oozes out into like a little holograms of joy, and then I have to try to get.
You'll get used to it. You see, what is happening is that you are open more and more to the vibration of your inner being. And you have been asking for this connectedness for such a very long time. And so in the moment of the openness, your inner being is within you with full force, you see. And so as you are experiencing it, it feels a little different to you because you are not accustomed to this much of it. But you will adjust to that. Soon that will feel like the normal. And anything less than that will feel less than normal. In other words, you will begin to feel the little bit of absence of your inner being in such a poignant way that instead of going from not very happy to occasionally happy, you will go from happy most of the time to ecstatic some of the time to, you see what is happening?
Oh, darn.
Relax into it. There is a little resistance about it. and the resistance is because it is so much and you're really not sure what to do with it. When we began speaking with Esther, she felt like she had a toe in a light socket. And as she would walk around, she would vibrate a little bit, and she would say to her mate, "I hope Abraham is not using me up too much." As if she was a candle that was being burned down a little bit. And what she is now understanding is that she is infused with energy. After the gathering yesterday, while many of you were departing, Esther was wanting to go dancing or maybe climb a tree or something. She was full of so much energy because of all of the energy flowing through her. You see, it is like a river. And when you have this energy flowing through you, you are utilizing it and replenishing it, utilizing it and replenishing it. And so there is never a reason to be tired, never a reason to stop having your joy. Not the highs and lows, but just a steady stream of ecstasy.
And I hear you assuring us that our physical bodies can handle all of this?
Oh, your physical body is very equipped to handle it. Your physical body does not handle resistance.
Okay.
Your physical body does not handle the depletion of that energy or the restriction of that energy. All illness exists because of the blocking off of that energy. And so your body will do just fine with it.
Okay.
Relax into it. When you feel it, relax into it a little bit. And you will have more of a soothing, pleasurable feeling of well-being about it.
Thank you.
Indeed. What more? Let us go here.
I have a very dear friend that I have a lot of respect for and has physically seen the lava produce the body to bleed out of his hands.
What is this stuff?
It's a blackish ash.
It is indeed.
Distinct and smell texture. I haven't seen it. I can't say whether it's valid or not.
If it empowers you to believe it, then believe it.
Well, my question goes to what is your feelings on psychic healers? Because isn't that in fact also a miracle that's happening on earth that someone has the power to do?
It is indeed. What it is a transmission of belief that is so powerful that it puts the being in the place of allowing that which was his all along. You see, when you want and believe, it is. And so, if you do not believe in your own ability, but you really believe in this one's ability, then your wanting and your believing are in the perfect place and you have your healing. Jesus said, "Go and tell no one." Why do you think? Because in the believing, without talking to anyone, we've talked a great deal about that, then there is absolute belief in the recovery. But in the talking about it, there is a diminishment of the belief, and then usually a recurring. And we will tell you that in 99 out of 100 cases that you are talking about, there is a recurrence of the illness when there is a separation from the healer. And yet, if the healer had been able to transmit his knowing that it was the believer of the one who was healed that accomplished the miracle, then that one could have maintained that healing forevermore. If he could have just conveyed just a little bit further that this is not my doing, it is your wanting and your believing that has accomplished this, then there would be the true healing, you see, rather than the empowering of the healer and the disempowering of the healed. Good. It is true of all healings, whether they are the psychic healings or the evangelistic healings. Many of you feel some resistance about that, and yet it is the same thing. The believer wants to be healed. You see, when you're sick, you have more wanting for wellness than most everybody else put together. Because never do you know more clearly your desire for wellness than when you're experiencing the lack of it. And so get a little bit of belief thrown into that, and you're in a very good place. The maintenance of that place is what is necessary in order to maintain it. Many of you think that in order to create something, you have to want it, and then after you have it, you stop wanting it. And then it goes away. Start criticizing that old car and watch it fall apart before your eyes. Criticize your old body and watch it fall apart before your eyes. Or praise it and bless it and acknowledge it and watch it thrive.